Okay,
Somebody's watching the game. I love it. John, we can get started? We'll start the meeting.
yeah, we're recording right now.
Okay, this is the Education and Youth Services Committee meeting for May 23rd, starting at, what time is it, John?
7:09.
7:09. Welcome, and I'm so pleased to see and not see a lot of faces. Just glad to know that you are here. And I think I'm going to take one of my committee members, Ms. Walker, and ask her if she could just kind of pray us in, please.
Hold on, Tolene, one thing.
Yes.
Is it recording? Oh, okay, I see it.
Yes,
Okay,
it is
I see it.
recorded. Thank you. Ms. Walker, would you do us the honor?
Sure. Father God, we come before you as humbly as we know how, thanking you, Lord, for this day. Lord, we ask that you bless this meeting this evening, Lord. Let us all be on one accord. Let us learn a lot and share a lot. Lord, we thank you for the many blessings that you bestowed upon us. For these things we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Let me see. Okay, so we had our somewhat of our welcome and introduction, and I'm so thrilled everybody's here and everybody's safe. Okay, so I'm going to take y'all into the mission statement real quickly, and that is the Education and Youth Services Committee collaborates with public and private schools, colleges, and universities, teachers and parents or guardians, along with all community stakeholders to ensure positive educational outcomes for our community. The goal is to improve educational services provided to the community in our district and collaborate with other communities in the borough. This committee will serve as a liaison between community members, mental health providers, and the New York City Department of Education, including but not limited to libraries, parent advocates, parent associations, CEC District 11, educators and principals, school safety, administration for children's services, district attorney's office, New York City Department of Youth and Community Development, and local organizations and non-profits. So does anybody have any questions or anything they'd like to say to me regarding our mission? And we are going to have to add something into our new New Yorkers that we have in temporary housing, to make sure that you understand that we are also working and doing everything with all the organizations that's necessary for them to get situated properly and for the children to be situated in proper schools. Okay? So, Ms. Duggins.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Ms. Tolene, for inviting me to the meeting today. This is my first time attending. I'd just like to introduce myself. My name is Juliette Duggins. I am a literacy teacher in District 11. I am a teacher, a 7th grade English teacher at MS 180. And very recently, about last Saturday, we had a grand opening for our Sylvan Learning Center. So my husband and I have partnered up, and we have opened a brand new Sylvan Learning Center in Co-op City, Dreiser Loop, and we service the Northeast Bronx. So I'm just here to introduce myself to you all and let you know that we are an excellent, viable resource for supplementing students' educations from pre-K to 12th grade. Ms. Toleen, I can't hear you if you're
You're
speaking.
muted.
I just realized I'm muted. I said, is there anything else, or does anyone have any questions for Ms. Duggins regarding Sylvan Learning and Co-op? Can I ask if you're on this call in this meeting? I'm trying to keep track of everybody. Most of the people that I see here, I have your names and emails. Would you mind please putting your email and name into the chat for me? So I'll be able to reach out because we have a very important meeting coming up. I would appreciate it. Thank you so very much. My next presentation is from Mr. Michelle Gaddis. He is the Executive Director of the YMCA of Greater New York, Northeast BX.
Yes. Thanks, Ms. Dickerson, for inviting me this evening. The YMCA is located at 250 East 229th Street. And we're the YMCA. Of course, a lot of people know that we've been open for roughly a year and 8 months now. And we do focus on health. We focus on community involvement as well as youth development involving our teens. We're multi-generational, so we work with children that are age 3 all the way up to active older adults. Our oldest member is 97 years old. Um, and we have a very beautiful state-of-the-art facility, 50,000 um, square feet facility. Um, and I just want to just say that the main focus right now for me is teens and figuring out how to best service our young people in the community. Right now, we actively have over 300 teens that are registered. We do provide scholarships from all of our local high schools currently. And so any child that would like to participate at the YMCA and needs a scholarship, we will fully pay for annual membership for those teens, and that's why we've been very effective at trying to get so many of them in here. Once they're in here, we've been focusing on like teen programming for them. Really excited to finally open up our teaching kitchen, which the teens will start learning how to, one, do gardening plus cooking. And so we've had a lot of great partnerships with Stop and Shop and other Fidelis, numerous other partnerships with that. But what we're going to really try to focus in is, trying to find their voice and what they really want to sort of center around what issues they have to make them more better citizens and how they can contribute back to their community. So the real focus will be them. We're starting team basketball leagues, etc. So I'll leave my information for anyone that could reach out to me. If you know of any teens, know of any parents who would like to get their children involved here. So our teen program starts from teen 12 and up. So they want to participate here, they're more than welcome to come through our doors. Um, Secondly, any memberships that we feel that, I mean, the Y has a price tag of $47 monthly, but we do have access for financial assistance. We don't ask for any financial proof. And so whatever that percentage and what you need to get to your price point, our doors are open. So we're really happy that we have over 4,000 um, memberships right now. And that of those 4,000, we're servicing over 8,000 Northeast community members. And so we want to continue to grow that. And hopefully, if you've not been by here, please stop by. Our doors are open. So again, thank you for allowing me to speak, Ms. Dickerson. And I thank you for your partnership with me as well. So thank you.
Well, I personally want to thank you because I know for a fact that if we don't find something for our children to do, somebody else will. And it might not particularly be the people that we want to find something for them to do. So I'm so happy that you have that program and that the doors are open for our youth. Because I used to work right across from you at John Philip Sousa. I was the AP over there and the dean, so that's a critical area, and I thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who has? I'm sorry. I'm reading. Okay. Ms. Vasquez, I'm really very happy that you joined us today. School safety was always my people when I was working. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is there anything you'd like to?
Not at this moment. I'm just listening in for now.
Well, I thank you so
Thank you
very
for having
much.
us.
I thank you. I truly thank you. Your job is a very difficult one at times.
Yes, it has its days, but you know, when you do what you love, everything comes, you know, into play. I'm
Yeah,
under the community outreach unit, so that's why we're sitting into this meeting just to see how we can help. I left my contact information so you can reach out to us via email of any webinars or events or any way we can help as far as resources.
well, thank you. I do appreciate that very much. And does anyone have any other questions for anyone that has spoken? So
I have a comment, Ms. Dickerson, just for Mr.
Sure.
Gaddis. Thank you for being here. That's probably something, if you're able to, that you should share at our full board meeting so that other folks who are joining that can also spread the word. There are a lot of teens and youth in our district that do need that additional support. So we invite you to the full board meeting whenever you have time, either this month or next month would be great.
More than welcome, and I would definitely like to join that whenever that is. So yes,
We'll make sure you
Thank you.
get the information. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think I sent you the link already. I'm not sure, but if not, don't worry. I'll send it out to you, or our chair will send it out to you. Let's see who else. Ms. Claude, do you have anything you'd like to add coming from your committee for me?
Not at this moment.
Would you like to fill everyone in on your committee, what it is? And
Hello, everyone. My name is Joan Claude, and I am the chair of the Libraries and Cultural Affairs Committee. Our mission is to get involved with things that are culturally involved and also to participate or to collaborate with the library and just to help others, excuse me, education-wise and otherwise. Usually we have our meetings the first Monday of each month, except for the summer months. And we try to talk about issues that are happening right now. And in most cases, every month, there are a lot of things to celebrate. And there are also medical awarenesses. And we usually try to choose one that we can talk about, something that's going on right now, mental health, people are suffering from autism, things along that area. So you're welcome. Our next meeting will be sometime in June 5th, I think. That link will be sent out. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to say something, Ms. Dickerson.
of course, I grew up in the libraries. That's where I had to stay. And that's where I was when I decided to become an educator. So I have love for the library. My mother wasn't playing. You either had to go to the library or to the convent and do some work. So once the nuns started making me clean and do some stuff, I chose the library. Thank you very much.
Yeah, the library in past days was like a babysitter for a lot of children. Because once they come from school, that's where they go until their parents are home.
Exactly.
So it's a very important item in our neighborhood.
Yes, it is. Let's see, who else do I have that I'd like to get here. Oh, Miss Kathy, Miss Belu, I know you weren't expecting this. You do know I love you, but I just wanted you to just say a couple of quick words about your position at PS 16.
Yes, good evening, everyone. My name is Kathy Kalu. I hope y'all hear me well. Well, I'm the current PTA president at PS16. It's my first year. And so far, I feel like they're doing an amazing job. I think we're going to get better as the months go by in the next school year. And so far, every big sale and everything we have been doing, I have been creating all the items, and I also create the school merchandise as well. And we also been selling school merch for PS16 as well. So we're trying to get the school more out there, more open. And that's about it. Thank you for allowing me to talk, Ms. Dickerson.
Could you just for just a quick moment share about, well, what I choose to call the boutique at the school, what has become now since our New Yorkers?
Yes. So what we have been doing, we have been receiving donations for different items and materials, and we were able to donate all the clothing items and food to the the newcomers. We also we also was able to place different children in different schools, and also was able to speak a lot of children in our school as well. So we had a handful. We have been doing a lot, and we were able to do a lot for them as we continue on with the school year.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Benga, is there anything you would like to include? Okay, Sherry, I'll be right with you 2 seconds. As you see, I have kind of named this little time stakeholders corner, because that's what I feel we all are. And I feel really blessed to have this time to have everybody speak. Sherry, you want to go first, and then I'll give Benga a minute.
No, I didn't see Miss Kathy's information, but I see it now in the chat. Kathy Falou, that's you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. All right, thank you.
And I tell you a little bit real quickly about Miss Falou. What she used to do, or she probably still does somewhat, she would gather all, like the kids locally from the community, and she would get up every day and ride with them to school, and then come back home, and then ride back to get them and bring them home on the train so that they would be safe. And it was like 7 or 8 of them. It was an awesome thing. My granddaughter was one of them.
Thank you for hearing that.
Yes, thank you. Ms. Roth, welcome.
Yes. Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. I'm sorry, I'm in my car, parked. I just wanted to ask, and some people in the meeting may have already heard me ask this. I asked it at the Parks meeting. We have a community garden at PS21 that we've been working on, and we have 11 planting beds that we're constructing. And I'm just looking for recommendations for information. We're gonna be eventually getting soil delivered to put into the planting beds. And I don't know if anyone has recommendations of any youth groups or groups looking for community service, or who could offer. I was thinking about looking into maybe some fraternity groups, or maybe Eagle Scout groups or leadership groups in some of the high schools who would be able to come, because it's going to be a large amount of soil that gets delivered. And when it gets delivered, you have to kind of, the gate to our school is a reasonable size, but it's not enough. You need 11 feet or 12 feet to have the dump truck actually come in. So they dump it on the street, and it's enough for 11 big planting beds. So it's going to be an enormous amount. So I just was curious if anybody in the group had any recommendations.
Mr. Figueroa, do you think possibly at the 4-7, maybe, I know they have a cadets program, maybe that might be something that they're interested in? Mr. Figueroa?
Can y'all see me, hear me?
Yes, honey, I see you now.
Oh, sorry, I'm actually I'm cooking, so what's up? So I didn't
You're
hear.
good.
What was that?
We're all waiting for our plates.
Let me know. I'm a good cook, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't get, what was that about? What was that?
Ms. Roth was just speaking and Ms. Roth, you want to kind of fill them in real quickly?
Sorry
Sure,
about that.
it's okay. My phone's on low, so it just like left camera mode. I was gonna ask, just for where I can get volunteers, we're gonna get a large soil distribution for our garden of 11, like 8, 10 by 5 planting beds. And it's gonna be a large amount of soil that's brought, and I've done this for 5 planting beds with a custodian, and it was exhausting, just the 2 of us. So it's gonna be like 3 times the amount. We don't have a date yet, but I was hoping to connect with some sort of group of young, vital people, like maybe high school age, who could lend their community service to help on the day it gets delivered and maybe help us shovel. We just got a wheelbarrow. So hoping to get a second one before that day, and then we could hopefully do it quick. It's a lot of shoveling, and I was just curious if anybody had recommendations for any groups that might be available to assist.
I know the chair mentioned something about the explorers. I could reach out to the explorers coordinator. If you could put your information on the chat and have,
Great.
Madam Chair, you can send it to me, and I'll reach out to the explorers. That'll be something good for them to do. I know the 4-7 just got a new a new bunch of explorers that just signed up. So this will probably be a good thing for them. So definitely put your info on the chat, or if y'all could give her my info. You want to take my number? You can take my number down now if you want.
Yeah.
If you're able to.
Bought a new planner from Staples on the way home. So I'm gonna put that there. Okay, go ahead.
Not Alfredo Figueroa, 917-337
Mhm.
5092. You call me tomorrow around 12. I should have some info for you.
Great.
If that doesn't work out, then we see, what else we can do.
Great.
To help you guys out.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
of course. Thank you, Madam Chair.
No, I appreciate it. Trust me, I know who to call. Mr. Gaddis, you think you might have any young folks over there?
Absolutely. I mean, I can talk to my youth and family director to see, and I will connect, and we can work that out with Ms. Roth. Yeah, absolutely.
That's always my joke, is that I'm not the writer, but I'm definitely the beggar.
That's wonderful. I just wanted you to know, Mr. Gaddis, I just put your information in I'm a social worker for students in temporary housing. So we're definitely the scholarship group, but I just put in our group chat, which is like 300 social workers, not to overwhelm you, but I just shared that, for anybody working with high school students, that scholarships are available. And we always look to foster those relationships. So I just shared that in the group chat.
Great. Yes.
It's truly valuable. I appreciate you so much. Mr. Levon, how are you? Hello?
Sorry about that.
Not a problem. You don't have to be sorry. We're good. I was just saying, is there anything you'd like to add?
No, not at the moment.
Okay, not a problem. And Q, I guess White Plains Road. I know I've seen you in many of our meetings. I do not, or maybe I missed out on getting your information at some point. Would you like to add anything to our meeting?
Hello, good evening. Thank you so much. No, I'm just taking in notes. I myself used to be part of a youth program, and I actually work with one of my associates I used to go to college with, that we get children and we try to help them get jobs for the summer. So I could definitely reach out to them to see if they'd be able to help in any way. But no, I'm just listening. Thank you so much.
Okay, I appreciate you. Would you mind putting your information in the chat for me?
Absolutely. I'm currently driving. Ursula has my information, but I'm definitely gonna try to get it over to you. But I'm actually driving right now.
Okay, well, my
Thank you so much.
information is in the chat, so please feel free to take a picture of it.
Absolutely.
And reach out to me anytime.
Thank you so much, Ms. Dickerson. Thank you.
Quite welcome. Dr. Joseph.
Yes, I'm here.
Good evening.
Well, I've been here, I've been in this committee for a while, so I guess what I would say at this time, one of the things I've been reading about a lot of stuff about, the education scene and the fact that a lot of high school kids are not really ready for college yet. And I'm wondering what percentage of the graduates that we're having in the neighborhood is going on to college.
From my conversations and from my past career, the numbers have been low, and I'm not sure very much since COVID and homeschool and remote how that has decreased it. I know it has in the middle schools. Would you say, Sherry? Did you hear me?
Yes, I heard you. I'm
Okay.
not sure the
Okay.
percentage about how many students are.
Correct. Yeah, I'm not sure about the percentage. I can get that information for you
Yeah, because I believe that should be a focus
very easily.
that we have, because in a time when jobs are changing fast, AI is taking up a lot of jobs, robots is taking up more, and college the way it is that students have to be prepared for the jobs that are not even known yet. And so it is critical if young people, the adults of tomorrow, is going to be able to get livable wage jobs. So that's a concern of mine.
Thank you. Thank you. That was another part that we used to speak a lot about in terms of students majoring and getting into different areas. We always asked for them to look and see, if those positions were open, if those are the positions that are not hiring right now when they're considering their majors. Who do I see? Miss Bromfield. Hi, Miss Bromfield.
Hi, how are you? I'm trying to unmute. Hi.
It's okay, not a problem. I just wanted to say hi and ask you if you had a couple of words and just, if you don't mind introducing yourself.
Oh, I'm Michelle Bromfield, and I am on the board as the correspondence secretary currently. Am I corresponding or recording secretary? I'm sorry, recording secretary. I'm sorry. I came in late and I was just listening in.
No, it's not a problem. I just wanted to welcome you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Anytime. Is there anybody that I'm missing? Ursula, you're still on? I know she wants to kill me. No, I know. Until Ursula responds. Our first chair, Mr. Clinton Mike. Do you have a few words you'd like to say to us this evening?
Good evening. Welcome everyone to the Education Committee meeting. I am Clinton Mike, the first Vice Chair of Community Board 12. That's it. That's all I have to say.
I appreciate that. I see John. John is just smiling. John, are you laughing?
John is laughing at me.
Yeah, he truly is.
He's funny.
Because I was hoping that you forgot about me, but
No, not at all. I could never forget about you. I definitely couldn't. I think I got everybody. How about our illustrious chair? I know you're a little bit under the weather, but could you kind of talk to us for a few moments about mental health?
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm the chair of Community Board 12. It's lovely seeing all these faces from our board and our partners from the neighborhood. I work in the mental health field, suicide prevention for Latina teenage girls, and so this is Mental Health Awareness Month. And it's important for all of us to just have direct conversations with our family members, our elders, and just check in on each other. We're all living through hard moments in our world, society at large. And it's just important to have direct conversations and normalize that we are all underwhelmed. I'm not underwhelmed, overwhelmed. And so let's develop this culture of being able to seek support and help when we need it. That's all I have, but thank you all for joining, and Ms. Dickerson for running a great meeting.
It's awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Miss Borsati. Hi, Miss Borsati. How are you? You're muted.
Oh, hi. What? I feel like I'm in the principal's office now. What's up?
Basically, you're more like in the dean's office. I
Oh,
just wanted to give you an opportunity to say hello and talk about your committees, and that's it. Nothing exciting.
no. Well, hello. I'm working on a few things. I was asked to look into 5G towers, but there's very little data about there. If anybody has any guidance, please give me a call. Also working on discovering this, apparently we do have an East 233rd Street White Plains Road Committee. Most of the merchants I've spoken to don't know about them, so I'm working to just get them front and center and address their merchants' needs. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. And Benga, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Hi. Can you
Hi.
tell us a little bit about yourself? Thank you, John. I see you. I'll be with you in 2 seconds.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Benga. I live in the neighborhood. Happy to be part of the board, and I'm also into technology myself. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Yes, John, our second chair,
Hi guys.
and Terry Godfather.
When you guys were asking about the community gardens, the first thing that came to mind was that young lady that started her own community garden. I can't recall her name. You guys, she's always on a meeting.
I know who you're speaking of. I can look up
She,
her name for you.
yeah,
Yeah,
she.
I believe Ms. Roth, she was at that meeting. I believe she's spoken to her.
Oh, okay,
Stephanie, am
because
I
she would
wrong?
probably
Yeah.
be helpful with her.
Yes, yes, we
Yes.
have been, yes, thank you. That was very thoughtful.
Okay.
Thank you, John. I appreciate you. Okay, I think, did I get, Desiree Campbell. Miss Campbell, did I call you already?
Oh yeah, we just greeted one another. But I don't have an official title, just a board member and committee member. Happy to be here.
Thank you so very much. And we're happy to have you as a board member and a committee member. Trust. Okay, so Ms. Walker, we're good. Ms. Walker's sitting there. So everybody's looking like, hope she don't call me. This is almost like fun. This is like coming out of retirement.
I am good. I was actually trying to look up the high school graduation rate, but as
I
you might
appreciate
imagine, there's so much stuff. So
Yes,
I'm listening, but I'm also
it's intense. I
researching.
know it's intense. I appreciate your help. I truly do.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone else that has anything or any thoughts? We have a lot going on in the community and a
Is
lot that
there, Tolene, is there anything on the front with the our new neighbors that's gonna be moving in the neighborhood or whatever with the schools, or everyone is
okay.
mute about it?
Yeah, I'm sure it's a lot. I've been on all week, entire week, morning and evening. I will allow our chair to talk about it for a little bit. our board chair?
We need a little bit of
She-
time. We
yeah,
need to
what she
gather,
can, right.
we need to gather more information, John, before we share. And so we will be, there are some things that we will be addressing at our full board meeting, so you're all welcome to join and listen in, but we'll talk about it there. I know that Ms. Dickerson was looking into doing a report for us as to what are the current statuses of the schools that we do have in this district. What are some of the challenges that they're seeing previous, right, to COVID, and then after the pandemic, and even before all of these different issues that we're seeing coming up in our community are addressed. We want to make sure that we have the data as to how they stand now and what they will be able to support or not, and what we will need in order to have fully functioning, supportive, connected schools. So we need to wait a little bit before we share and gather information.
And what I need you all to understand is that it is extremely intense. I have been on the phone with a lot of with superintendent's office, teachers, principals, parent coordinators, United Federation of Teachers, parent liaisons. I mean, it's extensive with everybody trying to pull together to ensure that everyone is safe and comfortable. It's very difficult. As you know, there's only about 20 some odd days left of school. So we have to think of the rest of the school year. And then we also have to think of the summer. You know, what's going to happen for some of our scholars? What are they going to do during the summers to help bring them up to date? And then we have to deal with a lot of the ENL situations and a lot of the language situations that are going on. So I guess everybody, I would like for you to keep all of this in prayer because it is intense, as you could just imagine. So is there anything else? I see another, John, is that you? Are you on too? Or I see another John?
No, that's not me. I'm in one.
You should be too, though, trust me. John,
Yes,
I see another John. John on the call. Someone, their name, it says John. No? Okay. So at this time,
Miss Dickerson,
yes, ma'am.
if I may.
Of course.
I know it's close to the end of the school year, but I was at a meeting last week and one of the teachers mentioned that she's a 6th grade teacher. And she, in preparing the kids for the state exam that they had recently, she realized that the 6th graders were reading at the 3rd grade level. Do you know or have any idea what teachers or educators, what they plan to do in order to bring these other students up to par? Because we know that the pandemic has damaged a lot of our kids. Some didn't have the computers, they didn't have any way to do their work. And because of the state of the pandemic, the mental health status, a lot of our kids were just not up to par. They were just not in that state of mind. So do you know if there are any plans as to how to help these kids to get to where they should be?
So as of yet, I haven't gotten anything specific, but I can only tell you not to make it seem any depressing. But when I first started teaching over 22 years ago, that was the same situation. I was at a middle school, 123 in Soundview, and that was something that we found out, that a lot of the students are levels behind, grades behind. I mean, even when I moved on to Evander Childs High School, I had some students that were in 9th, 10th grade that were on 2nd and 3rd grade levels, which was a constant battle a lot of prayer and a lot of time and a lot of work. It's difficult, you know, it's difficult, but it can be done. Trust me, it can be done. And I see Juliet, I see Ms. Duggins. Yep, that's you. Go right ahead. Ms. Duggins?
Hello. Yes, I'm here. Thank you. I just wanted to piggyback on that and let you know that that was one of the reasons why we opened the Learning Center. Like I said, I am a teacher, so I'm in the schools, and we opened the Learning Center. Well, I had the idea to open it because on June 2020, they decided they were going to open the schools, again. I mean, June 2021. And I was like, well, what resources do we have available? Because as a teacher, I'm not going to be able to do it all in the classroom. And as I started looking and researching in our community, there was zero resources, zero. There was nowhere I could tell parents that they can go to get the support for the lag that students and teachers are going to have to meet. Now, it took me 2 years to open the center. I am testing the students. That's one of the first things we do is we get a full insight on what they know for reading, writing, and math. And the kids are coming in 3 to 4 years behind consistently. And the parents are shocked because they're still being promoted. They're still going on to the next grade, but their children are suffering. They're not at grade level. They're way behind grade level.
You're on mute, Ms. Dickerson.
What a lot of people don't realize that when that happens, that also lends itself toward behavioral problems because the students are embarrassed if they're called out or if they answer wrong or whatever the situation might be. That leads to a lot of behavior, a lot of bullying, a lot of a lot of embarrassment, a lot of problems. And so it was good that we had the after school programs, and it was also we also had after school for the parents, so that the parents can help, and can see where it is or what it is that their children are doing. Because I mean, it's not a joke, but there's a comedian that I particularly like, and he was saying that his name is Joe Coy, and he was saying that he was failing 7th grade when he was a child. He said, so I hate to tell you parents, but when your son gets into 7th grade, what do you think is going to happen? So that's what I noticed that was a problem, and it was getting the parents to come in and the parents to learn and help for the parents, because a lot of times they don't know the new methods and they don't know the language, and they need the help as well in order to help their children. Q, you had your hand up a minute. I'm sorry.
Oh no, thank you, Ms. Dickerson. Those are one of the things along the lines I was going to echo. I'm really trying to be more involved, and I myself I went to all schools within the Bronx. So MS 113 was my middle school, and for me, it was the involvement at home that I think really took my education to another level. I think that there's only but so much teachers can do, in the classroom. So is there any type of workshop we can do at maybe the YMCA or a local community center in which we can create an agenda to get parents more involved? I have 5 sisters. They're all older than me. And I kid you not, the second I walked in, they'd be whooping my behind in terms of my homework. I just went out. Can you hear me?
Yes, now I hear you.
Okay, yeah, summertime, it was very rough. Like, I mean, they would take me to the library right there on Allerton, and I'd have to get 5 books, and I would have to come back within 1 week. So that development at home, I think it really allows for children to do that, and it's really hard because parents are working 2, 3 jobs trying to, create a stable environment for their children to just have a place to, rest their head. So if we could do something that could help empower the parents to help their children, I think we would probably be able to see some results in the near future.
Thank you. I don't think that was more realized than when it came to remote learning, when parents had to really, sit down and say, okay, so what is this? So, I mean, Mr. Gaddis, that sounds like a great idea. I know
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
PS16.
I think literacy is something that's on the top of everyone's mind. But what the approach is going to be, and I talk extensively with my staff to see what we can do. I mean, we've started with, if you walk into the facility, you'll see that we have areas, lobbies with books for parents to, sit and read while they're waiting. But I do agree that there needs to be some type of education, how to help parents with that, but as well as what types of services that we can provide that focuses on literacy in general, because we all know that kids have different learning styles and what their different sensories are. Um, so we've been talking about potentially in the lobbies having books that they can do audio, a lot of different things that we're trying to come at it at all different angles, but we do feel like we need some kind of formal approach to what the lag is in reading, and literacy is one that's something that I welcome anyone to help me with that conversation and see what we can put together. So yeah.
Well, please add me. And I see Deborah is really excited over there, waving her hands. Come on, Deborah, let's go.
I really, this is something that's very near and dear to my heart. I worked in parent and family engagement with the Department of Ed for many years. And having parents involved is critical to the child's learning. Having parents actually learn what their children is learning is absolutely critical. Many of us sat around during COVID working from home, and our children were in school. For me, my grandchildren, and there were things that they were doing that I was clueless. And I'm an educated person, but some of the stuff that they're doing now, I just could not help them with. And so I think the more we think about how do we get parents and students or children in the same space, learning the same thing, the same techniques. I think most parents want to help their children, but in many cases they don't know the work that these children are doing, especially in math. So I would love to be a part of a subcommittee that really looks at how we can better engage parents with their children, alongside their children, in special programming and such. We did lots of different literacy workshops, math workshops along with children. So I think I have a background that may be helpful in this situation.
Mr. Gaddis, I just seen you look up, so her information is in the chat.
Yeah, I'm writing it down as we
I
speak.
know you are. I could tell. I could tell. Benga, you have something to say, and then Kathy, I got you right after this.
Yes, Mr. Lin. When learning can also to be connected to fun, letting kids know that learning is fun, kind of similar to how when Sesame Street was airing, I think over 40, 50 years ago, where you had multiplication numbers, ABCs, sentences, different words. And a lot of young people, even including myself, learned through that no matter how difficult the subject is, you have to approach learning from an interactive, engaging, and fun. Curiosity, mystery, that puzzles their mind, that challenges their mind in a very nice, engaging way. That, hey, how do you solve this? And have everyone involved. And also, too, audio, like what Mr. Gattes said, visual, speaking to the students, too, that what's your passion? What do you like? What are you interested in? And kind of like gauge it from there. It's a good way to start. Thank you.
Thank you, Benga. Thanks so much. Kathy, I was going to call you whether you had your hand up or not, because I know about the evening program. So let's go.
Yes, but it's more of a comment towards the parent engagement. I really feel like the problem is the devices. My children, they grades was impeccable before the devices came in. And it's like when the devices came in, they are allowed to do every and anything on these devices. There's no way for us parents to put any type of parental control on it, for them to stop going on games and everything of the sort, for them to technically do their work. We can't see what they're doing or anything because they are on devices. So it's kind of hard to follow the work that they are doing on a device. Now, if the work was on paper, it's a whole totally different story. Like the devices is actually taking over not only the children and students, it's also taking over the parents. Because the parents is also in their devices. Everybody is on a device. The word is now focused on these devices. So it's kind of hard for parents and everybody to get engaged if it's always a device in somebody's face.
That's a really important piece. At first, when you started, I wasn't getting it, and then I realized what you were talking about. I know I have been at different times, and my daughter used to say, "Ma, please leave people alone." And I used to see couples, like young people, in the restaurant, and I'd say, "Did you know? Give me that phone. Give me your phone. Give me that phone. You brought this young lady out for dinner. Y'all enjoy yourself, and then I'll get you your phone back." But I also had a thing where at school, the parents used to bring me the children's devices because they couldn't keep them from doing it at home. I'm talking about the ones playing around, not when they're using them to work. And I used to say, I understand, bring it to me. And they used to bring it to my office and keep it in my office. It's very difficult. It is very hard. And as you say, Kathy, they're using devices in school to do some of the work. Who am I looking for? Sherry. I don't see her. Dr. Joseph, yes.
What I want to add is not so much the device. The fact is the devices are personalized. So it is difficult for another person to see what another person is doing because they're all on their personal devices. That's what I want to add.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
I'm here. I'm sorry.
No, please don't apologize. I know you worked all day.
No. The dogs are about to attack me. I had to go feed them real quick.
Not a problem.
Mhm.
We were just talking about devices and the students with their devices and in school.
Right.
And so it's anything you want to add because you are currently
No, it's just it's well, remember I teach at a secondary level, so it's not
okay.
really a big issue at that level. But being a parent, I think to be a parent now is much harder. My children are in their 20s now, so when they were born, we barely had internet, that just came about, and having a computer, we only have one computer in the house. But I think now for parents, it's so much harder because now you're competing with technology and raising your child and trying to grasp their attention and try to do things that's more surrounding around not using, like she said, devices and everything, but try to do things that's more, hopefully, like more homely and more family orientated. And it's difficult. It's really difficult to use, to raise children during this time and age. It's a challenge.
Thank you so very much. Kathy, you still have your hand up. Did you want to add something else?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't put it down. I'm sorry.
No, don't worry. I just wanted to make sure. Is there anybody else I'm missing? Mr. Figueroa, is there anything else you'd like to add? No. Ah, there you go. I'm waiting for my plate, man.
No, I'm good.
You good?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Our chair, is she still on? I know she had some.
I'm still
Oh,
on drinking my tea.
I know. Sorry.
No, just continue to encourage everybody to be active in our community board. We encourage everyone to spread the word and get others who aren't joining our meetings to make sure they are joining so that everybody's voices are heard. So just encouraging everyone's participation now and in the future, the next year coming up. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm real excited. I'm looking at Deborah. And I'm saying, this sounds awesome. You and Mr. Gaddis, I think this is going to be something good coming up. And anybody else, I think all the information is in the chat. If there isn't anything else, I don't want to keep y'all all night. If there isn't anything else that anyone would like to add, Clinton,
Clinton got to go. Clinton has an 8 o'clock Zoom meeting as well. But
okay.
thank you for a great meeting, and thank you everyone for coming and putting all these ideas together. Just one thing, I went to Maisha and I went to our son's school the other day to see his teacher. Goes to Bronxwood Preparatory Academy on Bronxwood Avenue, 228th Street. So he was having some challenges with his studies. But the teacher went on to tell us that a lot of the students there, they think it's cute, or it's cute to fail. Like it's a fad to fail classes. Like it's cool. I don't want to accept that. I don't want to accept that. So, I just wanted to put that out there if anybody else have heard anything like that. But that's what they told us, that a lot of them think that it's cool to fail classes.
That's something that's been around for kids for a while. My kids went through that also. And the reason I find is that they don't want to be singled out into the smart crew, and they rather hang around the kids who are, much more fun, that are failing and getting into trouble. So that's something, with children that I've seen.
May I say something? I
Sure,
really believe
please.
it's a lack of discipline. There's no discipline. There's no discipline for the children. There's no discipline for the parents. Is no discipline. It's like the children can do whatever they please, and the parent back up their children, and there's no discipline for that. So how can a child be great if the parent not great? And then when they do, and then sometimes I can't even say there's no discipline. Sometimes it's not enough help. It's too many judgmental. Like people judge people before they even understand what they're going through. So that's why I feel like there's not enough parent participation in particular schools or in the DOE. And that's why I feel like children are honestly acting out the way they are because there's not enough discipline.
You know what it is, Miss Kathy? More or less, it's no role models, no positive
Yes.
role models. That's more. I don't think it's discipline. I think it's positive role models. When they don't have the positive role model and they don't have somebody they can look up to and see succession, they feel that they can just do whatever they want to do. And it could be discipline also, but I think it has more or less to do with positive role models.
Yes.
Something that quickly I'm just going to add, and that was when during the COVID piece, what I tried to explain was that the children were not only missing teachers, they were missing the lunch people, they were missing school safety, they were missing the custodians, they were missing the crossing guards, they were missing everybody that had anything to do with, because you'd be surprised who can get to that child, who that child liked to listen to, and who that child had respect for. So that's a big deal. That was a lot that was missed. And I think they're missing me too, because as a dean, I was out. I was in the streets. I was at everybody's house. I was at everybody's church, at everybody's salon or laundromat or whatever they were. So it's a little different. It's a little different. The students are different. Some teachers, some parents are fearful, which is something I can't even begin to grasp, that you are fearful of a child, but I guess it is fact. It is fact. All you got to do is look at the news and look at everything else. It is pure fact. Miss Roth, and then Deborah. Sorry.
Yeah, hi. Something I want to just share is that I think mentorship and mentorship groups have proven to be have been very successful. And I think, I mean, I work in an elementary school, but I've always worked in positions in sort of underserved school communities. And like I said, I work with the students in temporary housing. And one of the things, just even previously, I worked in a community 4 years before, and I look on Facebook, and I noticed the high school principal, he really pushes the fraternities and these mentorship leadership groups. And I see boys that when I worked there, they were middle schoolers, they're in high school, and he just took them on a trip to Ghana. And, you know, I think there are positive role models, but I think it's really important for schools to have these affiliations and have these role models. So like, for instance, one of the things, I mean, I'm not using myself as an example by any means, but I'm just saying, so I'm a little obsessed with my garden, but say garden, gardener. And then, but I'll bring the kids in. The new thing I've been doing, like we got a grant, so I was constructing these 11 beds, but I bring the kids in, specifically the boys who are a little more, you know, a little more active, I'll say. And I said to them, I want them to come out. I'll bring them out 2 by 2 and we'll use tools and build things. Cause I don't know how much, like, I just remember my dad kind of teaching me to use tools. And I don't know how much time they've had learning how to use screwdrivers and nails and hammers and saws. And I thought that would be a nice thing for them, but I don't think it's not that complicated what we need to do. But I think in the same way that I'm reaching out saying, oh, if we could get, you know, if we had some high school kids, and I'm being very specific, not to say boys, because it could be girls just the same, to just come, bigger kids come and be volunteering. Or I could see every single day when the kids leave, they're all, oh, how's the garden? Or can I come work in the garden? Like they really want to. And I just think if there were more opportunities other than just learning sometimes, you know, I mean, the schools are under a lot of pressure to really get all this learning in and all this testing in, and the kids are in academics, and I can't always pull them for my groups, and because it conflicts with their learning. And I think a lot of times the most important thing they need is time with, you know, learning productive skills or skills or something to do with their time. I think that they will put their devices down, but again, like more community opportunities to do hands-on things like school's most convenient. And the other thing I was going to speak to is in terms of academics, I know in elementary school we have an after-school program and they do homework with the kids. But I think as the kids get older, it's hard. And just as a mom myself, like I used to bring my kids to the library too. And but just a lot of kids don't know the work or they're not strong students. And to have, you know, just tutoring opportunities where it's, I think a lot of parents aren't always equipped or knowledgeable about signing kids up for volunteering and for not volunteering for uh um homework support and assistance. So I think those kind of things, those kind of resources that would be readily available and schools could easily say, I mean, we get calls from parents all the time asking about homework, but a lot of these things are paid, you know, tutoring, and they could do free online tutoring. There are organizations, but it usually involves money and it's complicated. I just think if those kind of things were more readily available, those could be a big help. So that's my piece.
Ms. Walker, I'm gonna be right with you, but while I had Ms. Roth, I just want to first of all answer your question that's in the chat. Please feel free to share any part of my information or the information with anyone you'd like to. Okay, it's not a problem. I think that was it, Ms. Walker, and then Levon, I'm not letting you get away. I saw you put your hand down.
Just a couple of things. I think something that's very important is that we have high expectations for our young people. As parents, as community members, as church members, we need to have high expectations for them. We also need to be able to show them that they have transferable skills as young as they are. There are things that they have in one area that can be useful for them in other areas, but they don't know it. So we as the adults around them have to be vigilant and actually watching them, assessing them, and showing them that they can use this skill to enhance another skill. And lastly, I think as community members, when we see our young people, we need to encourage them, you know. And I heard Ms. Dickerson say, you know, some of us are scared of our young people. Well, some of them are scary, but you know what? We need to stand tall and we need to be a community, and we need to learn how to talk to our young people without being intimidating, without being showing fear, but encourage them and let them know that they can bring about the change that they need. I have lots more to say, but I won't say it all, try to say it all tonight. But I'm looking forward to working with each of you to really address some of these issues. Thank you.
I appreciate you to no end. Levon?
I guess I was looking at education from the perspective of at one point in time there were uh, curriculums such as home economics and shop in schools, and we haven't had that for an extremely long time, especially in New York. Um, but I always viewed those classes as being able to take the skills you learned in from reading, arithmetic, and combining that and showing students how to actually utilize those skill sets. Um, is there any vision or any way we can get something like that back into the schools, or at least um, give students an idea of how to relate what they're learning to actual real life scenarios?
I think that is actually quite awesome. Um, I am, I've been kind of working with and battling with the United Federation of Teachers, who has been trying to get CTE back in the schools. That was such an awesome part, and it was so good, you know, for the students, hands on. I mean, I used to take my students, I used to take my friends, and I'd say, okay, my friend works in at TGI Fridays, and I used to bring my students to TGI Fridays, so you can see what happens with this person working in this area, and we can go in the back into the kitchen and see about the chefs. We can see about the wait people who are waiting tables and so on and so forth. Or I take you to the post office to my other friend, and she would show you around and see what those particular jobs are like. Everyone is not meant for college. Everyone that does not happen for everyone. So I mean, I used to take my students to my different friends. You know, we talk about it for a few days, and then they go out to their jobs and see what that's like. To the mechanics, to the parks people, to see about the sanitation, all of that. I mean, sanitation they make an excellent salary. So I mean, it's a lot. So yeah, that is something that we really need to open up on. And again, I'm gonna rely back on Miss Walker and Mr. Gaddis and see what we can develop. You know, that would be an awesome place to do it too, as a matter of fact, at the Y.
Absolutely. Count me in, and I can make the space available.
That's
Absolutely.
awesome. That's awesome. Okay, Dr. Joseph?
Yes, on the issue of jobs, when we think about jobs, we have to think about the jobs that are the jobs of today, not the jobs of yesterday so much, because the job of yesterday don't pay as much. And the new CTE, there are issues with that because for some of us, the jobs of yesterday are what's been taught, and for some of us, the jobs of tomorrow is what's been taught. So we have to be careful with that. When we talk
Yes,
about jobs, we have to know what's the in job.
exactly. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. And thank you, Mr. Gaddis, for joining us. I see that you have to leave. Please be safe in your travels. Is there
Thank you so much. Have a great evening, everyone.
quite welcome. Is there anyone else that has anything else to say?
I
To
do have one more question.
Okay.
Um, Even with all the participation that we have in our schools and even at the Y, everything like that, as a parent, I'm more worried about the safety of my children walking the streets. So even if my children want to go to after school and everything, I'm stressed out and worried about if they're gonna come home to me tonight because they home late at 6, 7 o'clock at night. So like, is there? I know it's not gonna be a way because we are in the city, but it's like, I feel like certain things like that, especially when coming late, should provide at least transportation for the children if they are going to after school programs and they are attending different programs. Because us as parents, we don't want to send our children to these things because we're scared if they're gonna come, if they're not gonna come back home to us. At least if we know if they have transportation to go and come back, I know we'll feel more at ease with our children attending these programs. But with our children wandering the streets, that's not safe.
Thank you very much, Kathy. I'm putting you right there in the basket with Miss Walker, Mr. Gaddis, and Sherry, and Desiree thinks that she's quiet over there. Banga. I mean, I'm putting y'all all together for us to come up with some ideas and see. I know the United Federation of Teachers has a parent liaison piece that does workshops, and they have, you know, access to a lot of information and a lot of things. Joan, I like the way you're looking at me. Is there anyone else that has anything else that they would like to say in this meeting? I am so happy. You see, I'm just grinning. I'm so excited. This was an awesome meeting. And I'm loving my whole thing of the stakeholders corner, because that is just what we experienced. That was so beautiful. So if we do not have anything else to say, John, I need a call to close out from one of my members. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, you do. Who's on your committee beside the chair?
One of my committee, yes, one of my committee members.
I'll call it. We're closing this meeting now at 8:20 p.m.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Second.
Thank you very much. Sherry, did you get that? Did you see who did what? Who was the
Yes,
second?
the second was
Desiree Campbell.
Desiree Campbell.
Desiree.
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay.
So the reason that you're still smiling at me, Miss Claude, was I wanted you to take us out in prayer, please. Miss Claude.
I'm sorry about that.
No.
Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, we have come to the end of this meeting. Thank you, dear Lord, for all the ideas, everyone who spoke, what they spoke about, dear Lord. And this was primarily about our children and their education, the parents. We ask you, dear Lord, that everything that was said and done will sometime very shortly come to fruition, and that all of us will be happy about that. Dear Heavenly Father, we leave everything in your hands, and we thank you for everything. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Good evening, everyone. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night. I see you
everyone.
home. You made it home.
Good night. Night, Talene. Good meetings.
Thank you. Thank you. Couldn't do it without y'all.
Thank you, Ms. Dickerson.